Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's kick off with a story about a UPS manager who ran his facility like a military unit, at least in his own mind. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. UPS manager breaks rules for overtime, so we stretched a 10-minute task into a 3-hour payday. I worked at a UPS. It was ran by a manager who was very quick in your orientation to let you know he was a former commander in Vietnam, and he ran this office just like he ran his troops in Vietnam. I was brought up to respect the military and didn't have any problem when I first heard this. The more time went on, I felt sorry for the troops if he truly commanded any in Vietnam. It would be dead time in between when trucks needed to be unloaded, and we would commonly just stand around and talk, twiddling our thumbs when we were supposed to be cleaning. He would hide and behind closed doors, sweating his butt off, looking out small metal holes for hours at a time to try to catch us like this. I couldn't help but just see how pointless this had to be, as managers' time to sit sweating for hours so you could catch employees taking a break in between a truck after really busting their butt for hours. The union covered all workers whether you joined the union or not. I didn't join, but I still enjoyed the benefits of the union, which included overtime if you worked more than 4 hours in the day if you're part-time. There are also set rules, such as if there was an overnight package delivery that was missed and a driver had to drive it to the airport so the package would not be late, the manager had to pick one of the union employees to get that route. Due to the nature of them being part-time and normally just unloading boxes, it meant that they would be paid at a different driver rate overtime, so one trip could get a nice boost of pay from one trip to the airport. The manager didn't like that and would commonly take these trips himself when he was supposed to let another driver that was union take these trips. Most of our overtime would come from people who knew how to drive standards, because at that point, you'll automatically volunteer to stay late after your shift to park these trucks for the next shift. Cue malicious compliance. Anytime the manager stole these driving routes, everyone parking the trucks would go to turtle speed, and a job that would normally take 10 to 20 minutes would suddenly take about the hour. So once he was getting back, everyone would be finished up, as the trip to the airport and back took about an hour. One time he must have had a side errand or something come up. I never found out why, but instead of 1 hour, the trip took about 3 hours. I just remember 5 or 6 young guys and a couple old guys walking around this lot pretending to look at our paper that showed where our trucks were and looking around dumbfounded as we turned a 10-minute job into a 3-hour one. When he got back and saw us still in the lot, he just started screaming, and everyone's trucks were parked within about 3 minutes, and we got the hell out of there. There wasn't much he could do to punish us since he was breaking the rules, and he already did everything he could to make our life there as tough as possible. That was the easiest 3 hours of overtime pay of my life for sure, and my biggest team effort of malicious compliance. What a story, OP. Your manager's Vietnam flashbacks to running troops clearly didn't translate to effective leadership, and the team's response was golden. Imagine spending 3 hours stalking employees through peepholes only to come back and find the crew leisurely strolling around the lot, milking every second of his rule breaking. That's teamwork. Hats off to you and your crew for turning a petty situation into the ultimate slow burn revenge. It's not just compliance, it's art. I hope you enjoyed every cent of that overtime while your manager stewed in his own inefficiency. And our second story. Crazy customer's meltdown landed me a job as assistant manager. A bit of background. I was working for an Australian internet phone provider in the complaints department in Australia. After a few years working in the call center, I saw an advertised role for a sales assistant and assistant manager at a retail location close to home. I thought, why not? So I applied for the sales assistant role and was called in for an interview. As I'm waiting to be called in, I could just see a woman muttering angrily to herself, waiting to be served. Insert cast of characters, me equals me, owner/hiring manager equals HR, and crazy bee lady equals CBL. HR comes out to me and says, "Thanks for your patience. We're ready for you to come through now." CBL starts screaming, "Are you effing serious? I've been waiting over an hour to be served. How dare you cut the line?" This is a lie. I always arrive half an hour early to any interview, and I was there before her. HR, "I'm sorry, ma'am, he's not a customer and he doesn't work here. He's here for an interview." CBL, "I don't care. I want to speak to someone now or I'm going to start breaking things." HR was starting to search for available staff, but we're all serving someone. Me, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't work here, but if you want, I'm more than happy to help. What seems to be the issue?" Insert crazy tirade about how company is crooked and is stealing my money and cut my phone off, etc. Meanwhile, HR's just standing, watching me. I ask HR, "Do you mind if I use a vacant PC to assist?" HR, "Go for it." I proceed to log in as I already have a profile due to still being employed at call center. Turns out CBL had an overdue account and was not sent a bill due to moving and not updating her address, so her mobile was restricted until balance was paid. I assist her with taking payment, unbarring her account, and all whilst keeping this, she banshee from screaming. After she starts to calm down, she begins chatting and laughing as I'm helping her. It took roughly 15 minutes. Would have taken 5 if she didn't spend 10 minutes yelling first. She says, "Thanks, can I get your card so I can come see you next time?" Me, "Oh, I don't actually work here, I'm just here for an interview." She gives me a confused look, then turns to HR. "I'd hire him if I were you." After she left, I went into the office to begin the interview and was told the interview was no longer required. I was hired on the spot for the assistant manager position. So if you're out there, crazy bee lady, thanks to you, not only did I get hired without an interview, I got the senior role I didn't even apply for. What a wild twist of events. The fact that this CBL unwittingly became the star player in your job interviews both hilarious and oddly satisfying. You turned chaos into an opportunity, demonstrating top-tier customer service skills while managing to calm a tornado in human form. That's no small feat, especially when you're not even officially on the clock. Kudos for seizing the moment and showing HR exactly what you're capable of under pressure. And to CBL, let's give her some accidental credit. Her meltdown earned you not just a job, but a promotion. Life's little ironies, huh? And our last story. Garage owners refuse to sell their land. About a decade ago, my next-door neighbor crowned herself Queen of the Neighborhood Karens. She saw our little street as her personal fiefdom where she dictated everything from how people parked to the color of their flower beds. If she didn't get her way, she didn't just complain, she unleashed a campaign of gossip and harassment that could ruin reputations. Her adult children, a son and daughter, were chips off the old block, entitled and smug. They treated the streets, mostly rented properties, like their kingdom. Karen's son, Bill, owned a couple of rental houses at the far end of the street. Greedy and ambitious, he fancied himself a real estate mogul. And right next to his properties was the perfect target, a garage and plot of land owned by a father and son duo who'd been fixing up classic cars and bikes there for over 30 years. Their garage wasn't just a business, it was a legacy passed down from the father's dad. Bill swaggered over one sunny afternoon driving his flashy new BMW. Without even a hello, he approached the garage owners like he was doing them a favor. Bill, "Hey, good news, I'm here to buy your land. I'll give you $15,000 for it." Owner, "It's not for sale, but thanks for your interest." Bill, "You don't need to sell the business, just the land. You can move your tools somewhere else. I want to build a house here." Owner, "This is our livelihood, and it's next door to our home. We're not interested." Bill, "Come on, it's free money. Just take the deal." The owner politely but firmly turned him down, but Bill didn't take rejection well. He ran straight to Mommy Dearest to report the injustice. Karen wasted no time. She marched up to the garage, self-righteous fury radiating off her like bad perfume. Karen, "Why won't you sell the land to my son? He needs it for a new house." Owner, "Because it's not for sale. This is our business and we're happy where we are." Karen, "You shouldn't even be working here. It's dangerous and illegal." Owner, "We're fully licensed and up to code. Now please, leave us alone." Karen, "What are you hiding? Something illegal?" The owner stared at her, dumbfounded. Karen took his silence as confirmation. Karen, "I knew it. I'm calling the police unless you sell the land to my son." The owner laughed her off and told her to go ahead, thinking that was the end of it, but Karen wasn't bluffing. About an hour later, police cars rolled into the street. Naturally, the whole neighborhood came out to watch. Karen, loving the drama, began spreading the story with a megaphone's enthusiasm. Karen to neighbors, "They've been selling illegal substances to kids for years. I mean, I didn't call the police, but thank God someone finally did." Her glee didn't last long. The garage's owners calmly invited the officers inside and showed them their ace in the hole, CCTV footage. The cameras not only recorded Karen trespassing and making threats, but also caught her saying she'd call the police if they didn't sell the land. The officers left the garage and beelined for Karen. Her smug expression dissolved as quickly as cheap mascara in a rainstorm. When they asked to speak with her privately, her face turned sheet white. The neighbors who'd been lapping up Karen's drama now turned their attention to her. Whispers spread like wildfire. Karen, the self-appointed moral compass of the neighborhood, was about to face consequences for her antics. Karen received an official police warning for harassment and wasting police resources. While she wasn't arrested, the humiliation was far worse. From that day on, she became the street's punchline. Every time someone saw her lurking around, they'd mutter, "Careful, she might call the cops on your tulips." Her gossiping and meddling lost all credibility, and even her entitled kids stopped visiting as often. As for Bill, he never got his precious land, and the garage owners made sure to keep it looking pristine just to rub salt in the wound. They even added a little sign out front, established 1960, proudly not for sale. Karen eventually faded into the background, her reign of terror reduced to bitter glances from her porch. The day she moved out, a couple of neighbors celebrated with an impromptu barbecue. The owner flipped burgers, smiling like a Cheshire cat. Karen's entitled behavior was both infuriating and honestly a bit comical. She assumed she could intimidate people into giving up their legacy, yet the garage owners handled her with a level of class that really highlights how out of touch she was. That CCTV footage? Absolute brilliance. Those owners deserve a standing ovation for how they turned her threats against her. And let's not overlook the neighbors celebrating her move-out day. Ironic. If this story teaches anything, it's that arrogance will always meet its match when faced with preparedness and a strong community. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.